My daughter yesterday, we were driving around and she was saying, "Daddy, do you want to talk?" I told her, "Not right now, baby. I don't want to talk right now." And she was saying, "Oh, let's talk about this." And I was like, "Oh, I don't really want to talk right now, baby." And then she goes, "Daddy, let's talk about rocks." Rocks? Why rocks? I said, "Yeah, let's talk about rocks and sand." I was like, I wanted to just keep saying no, and I didn't want to talk about it. She was so curious, and I told her, I was like, "Well, sand starts out as a rock, and over time the water moves around the rock so much that it breaks it down and breaks it apart, and it turns into sand." And I realized, I was like, well, it's a pretty good example of, at least for me, because we started out as this rock, and we're constantly getting moved in all these different places and seeing different things and going through all the different stuff in our lives that, I don't know, each little bump along the way carves off a new piece, and each of those pieces go their own way, and more often than not the rock still leaves it all behind, and it keeps going forward, and it keeps going and going until it gets broken apart so much that it all turns into sand. And I said, move past who you were and learn to love who you are. And that's still very true to me. However, we do have to acknowledge our past as well. Like, our past does exist, and it's how we got to where we are now. But living in the now is all of a perspective, because the now is only the now so long as our mind perceives it as now. Because before you know it, it becomes the past. So when all those little grains that got broken off the rock along the way, they all make their way up, they catch up to you, just like thinking about the past. Are you thinking about it like, are you thinking about it and breaking yourself down? Are you hurting yourself by perceiving it as all bad? Or could you perhaps take a step back and look at what it's become? Because when sand washes up, shows up out of the water, you have a beach. Nice, beautiful beach to look at and sit on and sunbathe and play in, and to watch your kids play in, and the amazing things that they do with the sand castles and making holes in the ground. It's beautiful. And there she is now, my little inspiration. Alright, she was calling me, so I gotta leave this one where it's at. Don't be afraid to be moved by the water.